Hello to the TUC meeting, 24th of June. Today we have the agenda to go over the action items. We will also get an update from the packet working group, review our issues, PRs, RFCs, and talk about any other business. Okay, then let's check on the first point, reviewing the action items from last week. So the first one is, so I've been looking in this HES projects. My understanding is that this HES project configuration in the orgs YAML is not used at all. Just to So we have here HES projects. For every repository, you can define an attribute called HES projects, true, false. And my understanding is that this is not used at all. But I've been not involved in this project generation stuff. So my understanding is that if you have a configuration, like for example, here in the foundational infrastructure working group, like this one. So all the sub areas here, this working group gets a project generated for all the sub areas with the rest according.
It doesn't generate a project, right? This is just so that all these projects, all these issues and pull requests get synced into the project with that idea, with that
Yes.
ID. So the project needs to be created first, right? So the HES project is, I think, just about like if repo level projects are enabled or not, right? So I think this is using global projects. Like you have org level projects and you have repo level projects. That's the difference. And I think at least in the foundational infrastructure, we're using org level one. So the CF community one is org level, and foundational infrastructure is org level, and there's no other org level ones.
I think Amelia, ARP, they also have a project.
Yeah, but that shouldn't be repo based.
Yeah,
No?
agreed. No, we don't have repo-based projects that I know of.
Where's your project then? Or are you not using projects?
We have a project and I don't use it. So it might be org level.
I'm currently looking at that list and there's only 2 that are open. Maybe it's archived. Wait.
If you break my project, I will not notice.
I'm doing nothing.
But you mean with this repo level repo level configuration, you can generate repo level project?
It enables the ability to create repo level projects. So it's like a setting on the repo if you have projects or not. If you can have or create projects there. So I see. No, I was just looking at created by me. Apparently, that's the default. So projects, there's a bunch in the org level.
Yeah, there are a bunch on the org level.
Yeah. There's even Beyhan's Entitled project, which is a great project. I'm following that one extensively. It's really good. There's a lot of to do and in progress and done stuff.
Okay. I don't know what was the action item about actually. Check on HES project.
I think we thought about removing it from all of the repos in there just because people are just copying and pasting it blindly and don't think they actually need it. I don't think it's a huge deal if it's there. But if
Yeah,
we
I
want to
think it's
clean it
more
up,
of a question if the underlying tool, what it will do, right? Like the
Yeah.
variables, like it might be a required key.
I guess they were all created by reading the information with Peribolos, and then
Yeah, I
that's
think
how
we
this
did an
data was
export.
created. So maybe it's a
Yeah,
good
some sort
idea
of
to
dump.
don't touch.
Yeah.
But one can try it out with one project maybe and see what happens, or try to read the code. That's also possible. But no fun.
Or ask AI.
Yeah, ask AI, of course.
Okay,
Can also
we don't
throw
have much
dice.
time. Daniel has
Oh,
only
nice.
half an hour for the update. That's why I will try to look again into this for next time. I don't have
So we
enough
have
just looked now. And the other one I saw there is an RFC update. So this is, we can mark this done. Ruben,
Which RFC?
you created an RFC update about this action item, I suppose.
Oh yeah, I did that. Yes.
Yeah, it's marked as done.
Okay.
Okay, then we can proceed with the working group update. Thank you, Daniel, for joining.
Yeah, thanks for having me. All right. Yes, I can give everyone just a quick update on how things have been going. Off the top, we had elections just recently. So the new steering committee is Jan, myself, and we have a new member. His name's Jericho. So it'll be the three of us for the next year, which is good. It's some continuation, with Jan and myself, and then we have someone hopefully with some new energy and ideas. So looking forward to that. Probably not taking anyone by surprise, but I think Paketo has been struggling for contributors for much of this year. We've seen the contributions from Broadcom pretty much dry up completely. I don't see really any of those folks around anymore. But we did kind of, I don't know, maybe in March, I can't remember exactly. We kind of did an appeal to the community, like, hey, we're looking for new people. We figured, I guess, doesn't hurt to ask, and we've actually had pretty good turnout from that, which is nice to see. We've got, I don't know, maybe 3 or 4 people that are kind of newer that are contributing consistently, and then we've had a few kind of drive by one-off PRs and stuff. But I think it's been good to kind of just put it out there and just be like, hey, if you like this, help. And we put some stuff in the post about how to help, and it's not as hard as you might think, and that sort of thing. So just trying to encourage people to step up and contribute here and there, which has been nice to see. So we're pushing along, and I think one of the other things that kind of fell out of this was that we felt like we needed a way to kind of keep people informed about the status of different build packs, because with all these people dropping off, it was just like, okay, well, no one's taking care of these things anymore, and no one really, users don't really recognize that. So we pushed an RFC through earlier this year as well for a kind of tiered system for build packs. So there's kind of tier 1 through 3, with tier 1 being like, we have lots of people working on this, it's in good shape. Tier 2 being kind of like, well, it's on the fence. There's some people working on it, but it may be a little slower getting things out. And then tier 2 is kind of just like, no one's working on this anymore. Like, you can use it, it's probably going to get archived if we don't have anyone step up to take this. So there's an RFC that kind of goes through those more in depth as well. But we just figured it's better to be transparent and let users know what the status of these things are. Maybe we get someone that steps up, maybe we don't, but at least we're being forward with that so people can plan around it. We're continuing with ARM64 and Noble support. The builders, the build pack, I'm sorry, the Stacks team has, I think, finished with ARM64 support and is working on the Noble support there, which is good. That's kind of like the first step. I'm just guessing off the top of my head, we've probably got, I don't know, maybe 60% of the build packs that are working with ARM64. Maybe higher. I think some of the ones that are left will be small lifts, and that they just need like some metadata changes. They're not dependency changes related, but I think we're making good progress. And then as those build packs get updated, then we can put them into the builders, and then the builders will support that. The build packs are kind of the last step to make the builders support ARM64 and Noble as well. So we're still kind of pushing along with that. Again, it just depends on who's around at the time and who's motivated to work on that stuff. So I think that's kind of why we're seeing a bit of a long tail with getting that finished. We have had some support from Red Hat with the UBI stacks and related features. They've been kind of pushing that forward. They added UBI 9 support this year, which is nice to see. And a couple of those folks have been helping with other things as well. They are a couple of the people that had stepped up to kind of help the project in general. So that was nice to see. And then I think the last thing that came to mind, we are with the Noble staff changing the structure of things a little bit. In the past, we had individual projects for each of the kind of stacks that we have. So there was a static, tiny, base, and full. And we had an RFC earlier this year to basically for Noble merge those. So there'll be like one build image for essentially all of those and one builder for all of those. But then we'll publish separate run images. So the idea is that the difference of what was in the build image and the builder for those was very small. Mostly the difference is in the run image. And so we felt like we can kind of simplify what we're doing project wise and maintenance wise by kind of combining some of those things. And then from the user side, it really doesn't change things a whole lot. The base kind of stack is going to be the default still. And if you want to use one of the other ones, you can just switch the run image when you do your builds. So it's slightly different, but shouldn't really change any of the functionality or anything like that. Yeah, I think that's about it. That's coming to top of mind. I think things are going well. As usual with any open source project, more contributors. We could always use more contributors, but it is what it is. We're getting by.
Well, what's the status of your CI? Like, I know from traditional build packs that a lot of the CI infrastructure was with Broadcom. Is that also the case for Paqueta, or is that?
Oh, yeah, that's a good point. That's something else that I forgot to mention. So, but to answer your question first, our CI is in good shape. It's all pretty much on GitHub. So we were added into, I think it's the Linux Foundation. So we have like enterprise GitHub support, and everything is just kind of, just kind of works there. We haven't seen really any issues or anything with that. We did not have any CI that was tied to Broadcom. What we did have was some resources in GCP, and Broadcom killed those accounts this year. So that stuff went away. So we did have a little bit of a scramble trying to get people pointed to Docker Hub because there were still some people pointing to GCR. So if you issues, if you see people still pointing to GCR, everything is just on Docker Hub now. We did put a blog post up about that. I think we did okay trying to get people pointed in the right direction, but the day they killed that, you could tell because there was like half a dozen issues that popped up, and we were like, yeah, sorry, it is what it is.
Any reason why not going with GitHub container images?
We had already been using Docker Hub. Thankfully, we didn't have to make a ton of changes last minute. Most of it was just stopping CI from trying to publish to GCP because when it went away, then those things started failing. So we just kind of tried to stop doing that and just let things go to Docker Hub. There's, I think, some interest in possibly publishing to multiple places to kind of isolate us from this in the future, from random changes in, service providers and whatever they feel like doing. There has been some concern with Docker Hub in that they, like to change their rules every 6 months. So yeah, we probably will at some point try to publish to GitHub container repo and maybe somewhere else too, just to kind of diversify. But it's, we're really targeting anything that would be, I guess, free for us to publish to. So.
Makes sense.
Are there any other questions? I tried to catch up the status, but somehow at some points I wasn't sure. UBI 9 support.
Yeah, that's the UBI. That's their universal base image. It's
okay,
just it's like a different different stack basically.
And 9 is the version.
Yes. Yeah. They had contributed 8 a while back, and I guess 9 is the most recent now. I don't really follow it super close, but yeah, that's been the new version that they contributed.
So there are no other questions. CF Day will happen in Europe. If you have any ideas to propose talks, it is still possible. Just making some advertisement.
Yeah, I don't know that we have anyone.
Jan is in Europe, for example.
Yeah, he would probably be the one to nudge to try to submit something there. It would be nice to see, just to get some visibility for Paketo. I'll mention that to him.
Do you have a working group meeting happening? How is it?
Yeah, I actually think there's one later today. It alternates. There's an early session and a late session that kind of alternate to try to get people in different time zones able to join. I don't think the attendance has been great on that. I am not usually able to attend because I have other meeting conflicts, but yeah, I think the attendance has been a little bit lower on that as well.
There have been also discussions to get the specification, cloud native build-back specification out of what was the status in the Cloud Native Computing Foundation. It is now incubation.
Incubator?
Yeah. Is there something, any update on that?
I haven't heard anything. I've seen them doing, I've seen, folks on that project doing things here and there, but it's not something I've followed super close. They kind of, I know there's some folks from Heroku that are kind of pushing that forward, but I don't know exactly what the status is on it. Yeah, I think that as far as like the things Paketo has been watching from upstream, there hasn't been a ton. We're kind of keeping up with the patch releases, things like that. But I don't think there's been a ton of new functionality that we're like waiting for or looking for. From the Paketo standpoint, things are pretty stable, and I think that's the way users kind of like it. I don't think they're looking. A lot of our users, I don't think, are looking for big changes in anything.
No. Yeah.
Probably the biggest feature that has come out recently is the build pack extensions, and we really haven't seen much of an uptick in that or a request for anything there. There may be a couple things we do, but for the most part, folks are happy, I think, with the way things are.
Yeah. At least my experience is that this is the hardest part of the stack where you can introduce changes, because customers
Yeah.
avoiding any effort which doesn't bring any additional value.
Yeah. I've had some conversations with folks upstream about that as well, because they seem to want to keep poking with things, and I'm like, I don't know if people really want that. You might like that, but I think it's going to make some people upset. So yeah, trying to walk that tightrope is fun.
Is there anything we can help with?
I don't think so. Not at this point. Yeah, nothing comes to mind.
It's great that you could activate some new contributors. This is
Yeah, that was really good to see some people step up. I think even for the folks that are still around, it was energizing, to see some new people come in and with ideas and ambitions to make some changes and stuff. So.
So recently, Cloud Foundry introduced also the native support for Cloud Native build packs, the life cycle for Cloud Native build packs. Yeah, but we are also struggling a little bit to motivate our stakeholders to adopt Cloud Native build packs, because they don't see at the moment the need to go there. Maybe this is something which in the future can be somehow, I don't know, explain better what is the benefit to go to Cloud Native build packs, to Cloud Native build packs.
Yeah. Yeah, that's tricky, because there's, the old Cloud Foundry build packs, they do a lot of the same things. And since the system is abstracting away a lot of some of the difference there, I think it's even less pronounced than if you were trying to run your stuff elsewhere. We could potentially look at like some feature comparisons. I think there are some differences. I'm not sure how how compelling that would end up, being. It would probably it depend on how much you actually cared about some of those differences.
Yeah. I also think that the local dev experience is much better with native build packs. But yeah, maybe something for the future.
Yeah, I think the things that come to mind probably would be, the biggest difference is the container, base difference. Maybe trying to focus on that, and the advantages that brings, that you can kind of push those containers out and to other workflows that you might have, as far as scanning,
Yeah.
and storage and sharing them and things like that. There are probably some advantages that you get with the containers there that might be compelling. If you've got tons and tons of applications, that creates a to store them, and it can be more efficient.
Yep.
some
Yeah.
of the stack differences too, you know.
Definitely. Okay. It looks like we don't have any other questions. So thank you, Daniel, for the update.
Yeah, no problem.
Bye.
Thanks for having me. All right. We'll see you guys later.
Yeah, see
Bye-bye.
you. Bye-bye. Okay, then we can proceed with our PRs. There is a new one proposing some approval improvements in the our user contributions generation script.
You call it improvements. I don't know. It felt like we're introducing an initial dependency while replacing Ruby, which is usually already installed, while we still keep JQ around.
Okay, but here's some discussion happening. So
Yeah.
not yet ready to be merged.
I don't think he's made the changes you've requested here, so I don't think this one's ready.
No, I wanted actually to do the changes, but I didn't have the permissions to the format. Yeah. This is also still waiting for changes. Okay, RFCs. There is the one about the binding rotation for apps. So we had a lot of discussions, and now Greg also asked some questions, and we've been looking through the questions with Stephan and provided some answers, but they are not yet 100% clear. So there are some proposals, and after the TOC meeting, there is also an RE working group meeting, and the idea was that the discussion continues then.
Yes. There's also no decision made yet on the naming, right? Like one of the comments was about the naming. I think there were a few proposals, but it's also an open topic.
There are there's even a proposal that would go into the direction that we don't have to decide on a name because we don't need an extra endpoint and postpone this. Yeah.
Future improvement. Yeah. But let's see what the next iteration after the RE working group meeting, and then a lot of good discussions. If you also have input on the questions here, please put them. Okay, and there is a new one. An update to an RFC. I don't have context here. Maybe Ruben.
Yeah, we discussed this. It has been a while since that RFC was accepted. We made it opt-in back then. People have had a chance to adopt branch protection, and I think we should now switch to on by default, and then people can opt out. That's what this is about. It's an amendment to the existing one. Just yeah, and we already have an opt-out mechanism through the branch protection.yaml file. So yeah, that's this PR. That's what it's about. I think it's looking at the changes, probably mostly our working group the foundation infrastructure working group that has not adopted it. So, but this is just enforcing it, and then we have to go through the pain.
Opt out. Through the pain to opt out.
Yeah. But I mean, like, yeah, adoption has been slow. We got no momentum on our side. I mean, I don't know. So this is another way of doing it. It's like, we just gotta enable it and then see what breaks, I guess.
Yeah.
And you can
it's-
always opt out per repo.
Yeah, sure. But then at least it's clear why,
Right.
and we have to document why.
For
and-
sure.
Yeah.
I'm pro this, but the tests are failing. So I did
Yeah.
that.
There's
Yeah.
tests.
I also saw that yeah,
The org automation ones. Yeah.
something with
Yeah, would be bad if the tests are not failing when you change something in productive code, right?
yeah.
That makes sense.
So this is this will have impact to working groups. Should we how to proceed here? The updates actually we just merge. I've been thinking whether we will wait here 1-2 weeks or no.
Yeah, maybe we should send out a warning to the working group leads and say we'll do it in 2 weeks. And
Okay.
assume we'll fix the units by then.
Would be only for those working groups that have not yet opted in, right?
Sure.
So it's
Yeah.
not that much.
Yeah.
So we have to warn Ruben.
And me.
No, it's Beyhan.
apparently.
It's Beyhan. Okay. In this
Yeah,
case.
no, it was Beyhan. Like, I was always pro this. It was Beyhan who was blocking it.
I can warn myself.
But maybe the working group leads can warn their Slack channels.
Okay. This is about RFCs. I didn't check here on the status. I don't have an update here about issues. The concourse working group CLA. Is this already clarified, Chris?
He had to leave.
He decided to leave. Okay, then check next time. About this one, Rem, do you have any updates about this provider page on the codefoundry.org? I think people provided some, there is a Word document where people provided input.
Yes, Beyhan, I have all the inputs I need. I'll have something ready by next week.
Okay, I can, should I put here some just for transparency because people asked
Yeah, I can add some details there. So I'll post a draft to the content that I have in a day or two, and then post about progress after handing off to the web team.
I will put the link into the chat to the issue.
Sure. Thank you.
Okay. And this is what is this? This is about yeah.
You made it.
Yes. Okay. Still in the inbox. Okay, then we can go to any other business. Do we have any topics?
So just another reminder that CFPs for Cloud Foundry Day EU close this weekend. So please encourage your teams to submit any talks.
Yeah, I'm doing this in at SAP. I think you should see some submissions coming in the next days.
Thanks, Beyhan.
About the cost savings, I heard from Kurifi working group that they didn't get access to ternary. Do you know how we can help people who need access? Actually, Chris tried to trigger this. He wrote an email to I forgot the name. It was Shah who presented us the tool, how to the ternary tool 1 month ago. So to onboard the new people, but there are still people who are not onboarded there.
Sounds
You
like an
don't
action
have-
item for Chris.
Don't have any context into
Yeah.
that time, most probably. Okay, I will approach Chris on this. And we have to schedule the next cost savings meeting. It's already a month. So what that could be? I think next week I won't be able to join most probably because of an internal event. Yeah, next week I am not able to join. But should we target 5th of July? Or do you want to have the meeting next
5th of July is a Saturday.
It's a Saturday.
We would do either the first is next week, 8th is the one after. We could do the 8th.
Sorry, I somehow.
Not this year.
Yeah, 5th of July, yeah, 2028.
Yeah, time is flying. 8th of July. Okay,
Sounds good.
I will update then people to know that. And next week, I won't be able to join, but I will try to schedule the working group update. And someone needs to moderate. Oh, next week is the first meeting with the new TUC, I guess. Oh,
Yeah, I'm not gonna moderate. Me.
You will be missed.
Okay, Ruben or Stephan. Who's gonna do it?
Just to check. I have to look up, but it might be that I'm also not there on this 1st of July for the same reason as Beyhan.
there is an internal
Yeah.
developer event, but I have also a meeting during that event with people. That's why it will be.
Hey, Ruben.
Yeah, no, so that's me. But I'm wondering, like, do we have quorum then? Then we should, in theory.
Yeah. You'll have Chris and Greg.
Okay. We'll do
It
it.
may be me, but I'm not yet able to look up whether I'm there or not.
Go moderate.
Okay, then is there anything else? Okay, I have, I think, all the action items. Still catching up out of PRs. Then we are done for today.
Take care. Bye.
Take care.
Bye
and
forever.
thank you for your time.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Nice to have you,
Really
Amelia.
sad.
Thank you.
Yeah. And Chris. Ah, it was too
All
fast.
right.
Then yeah.
Take care.
Somehow it was too fast to have the goodbye. See you
We'll see you soon. Take care.
in 2 weeks, Chris. Bye bye.